Welcome back, folks. Fluffy Cow here with another episode of the single player Let's Play series. It will not stop raining for whatever reason, so we're just gonna have to power through this rainstorm and do an intro while it's raining. Behind me, you can see a line of torches, and that's because today's episode is mainly gonna focus on building up the start of a base. We gotta tear down the mountain behind us. Mountain? This barely counts as a hill. Anyways, tear down the mountain behind us, and then we're going to build something in its place. So without further ado, let's hop right into it and get out of this rain. With all the digging out of the way, I figured I'd take a little break and go raid another bastion before doing the building. As you can see, we've got our tunnel right over there, so this nether bastion, is not that far away. And there's also another fortress just off in the distance, as you saw. I did manage to get the Return to Sender disc that was recently added to the game. Although by now it's not really recent, is it? They're like 2, maybe even 3 updates ahead of when that was added now. They update this game so fast. I found my first chest here. Not a whole lot to write home about, so we're just going to move on from that. And here I figured, why not just grab all the gold from this, I believe it's called a chalice? Please correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, though. I figured we'd just take all the gold, and if we find a good bunch of piglins, we can trade the gold with them, maybe get some goodies from them. But we mostly come back to that later. I say we come back to it later, but I do throw a little bit of gold at these two, mostly just to get them to stop looking at me with their crossbows in hand. I figured I'd take a look at the bottom of this. If it's not obvious by now, I do not know my nether bastions like a speedrunner would. But it took me about this long to figure out that there's nothing worthwhile down in the bottom, and I very promptly left in search of better loot up at the top. We come to this side of the bastion. I do know that these chests tend to have some good loot in them. And right there you can actually see there's a netherite template that I am going to make use of later in this episode, so keep an eye out for that. Following the loot from that side though, we head over to the other side to loot these chests. And I find a piece of ancient debris in that chest. A cursed diamond pickaxe in this one, and otherwise the loot's not all that incredible. This is where I decided, let's mess around with piglin trading a little bit. See if I can get a bunch of piglins into this 1x1 hole. The idea is that I'm just going to build a little staircase up for this big group to walk up. But as you'll see, that kind of fails horribly. As one piglin walks off the edge, and I have to kill another brute. So I only end up getting one piglin in here. In hindsight, if I'd even bothered to look at what I could get from piglin bartering, I honestly wouldn't have even tried right now, because the stuff I can get just isn't worth it for me at the moment. From there, I tried to play a little bit of tennis with a ghast. Got it on the second try. And as you can see, I managed to get another disc. Unfortunately, I lose the gunpowder to the lava. I do manage to pick up the ghast tears though, which is nice. So we head back to the fortress. I come back to where I started, get faked out by the same chest, and decide, you know what? We're going to break it before we get psyched out by it a third time. I then see this brute staring at me, and I figure, let's take him out before he has the chance to take us out. And so I very carefully try to take him out, and you see right there, that's 4.5 hearts with 3 pieces of diamond armor on. If he could get to me, he would absolutely wreck me. Right there, you just heard he went poof. And And to end this little nether trip, I figured I'd grab a little bit more of the Gilded Blackstone, which I do recall being quite a rare block and very annoying to get a lot of. I guess I only show myself grabbing 2 blocks of it here before deciding to dip out. And as you can see, it's not very far from the bastion back home. This is everything I was able to get out of the nether from that little trip. I'm most happy about the music discs, the netherite upgrade template, the 2 dried ghasts that I found, but for some reason I don't think I ever showed that on camera, as well as the ancient debris. Now let's get to building. Man, what did you guys think of that time lapse? It is currently just a big old oval, but think of it more as a blank canvas than a finished product per se, because it's definitely not finished. There's going to be a lot more work going into this. I've just gotten a bit tired of building at the moment, and I'm looking for something else to do in the world. I did go ahead after that time-lapse was finished. I went ahead and threw up some scaffolding for a few towers that I want to also include in the build. I've got, let's come right over here real quick. I've got 2 that I want to kind of have right in front of the main entrance here. And then I've also got 1 off to the side on each side. And if we head on over, I do want to put more. I want to put like 1 here, maybe a crumbled one right here, right on this ravine. And then another one right over here just to finish out the symmetry of the towers. I think those will look real fun, especially having one that's crumbled back here due to a ravine opening up underneath this castle. I think there's quite a bit of story we can tell with this bit of natural generation. But as you may or may not have seen in my hotbar already, I've got 4 gold, a netherite upgrade template, and 4 ancient debris. And believe it or not, I actually found all 4 of this ancient debris by accident in separate trips to the Nether. We had 1 found in episode 3, we had 1 found in episode 6, and we had 1 found earlier this episode. As for where the last one was found, your guess is as good as mine. I also want to show you, I have already made 3 copies of the netherite upgrade template just for safekeeping. I also have a 5th ancient debris in here that's just going to hang out for a bit. But let's go ahead and smelt these up, and we're going to make the very first piece of netherite gear in this world. For those curious, this is my kind of valuables chest of resources. And here comes the last piece, finishing up smelting. So let's get our netherite ingot crafted. And then I have been putting a little bit of thought into what I want to make netherite first. I feel like my boots are a very strong contender, but I'm going to go with my subscribe pickaxe. I just feel like it has the most durability usage out of anything in this world. So let's get it upgraded so that it does not break on me by accident. We do that, and we do that, and we get ourselves a smithing table. Sweet. And we're actually going to go stick it somewhere over here. Should we just stick it right there? Yeah, let's do that. We got our netherite ingot, we got our pickaxe, and do I not know how this works? I have no words to explain how I managed to mess this one up. I don't know how this works. Oh, yes, I do know how this works. I'm just being a fool. We gotta add the netherite upgrade. Otherwise, we can't upgrade to netherite. But here we go. Our first netherite item of the world. A Silk Touch pickaxe. All right. Alrighty, folks. Looking at the time on this video, it is time for us to say goodbye today. I hope you enjoyed watching me tear down this mountain and then build up the start of a base in its place. I'm really looking forward to this base coming together. And with that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all for coming by, checking out this video, and saying hello. I will see you in the next one. Gosh, I'm loving this wheat field. Although we do kind of need to do something about all of the leaf blocks that are being used for water. Who knows? Maybe I'll install like the armor stand mod and put some fake wheat in there or something. I don't know. Find out next time.